Namaste, Hamisha Kushro Vidya. I am JV and Dr. Vinakshi, Assistant Professor, Department of Shalakya Sutra, Faculty of Ayurvedic Science, Jyoti Vidyapith Women's University. In this session, we will discuss the treatment of Karn Rog. Earlier in the previous session, we have discussed the treatment of Vataj Karnshul, Pittaj Karnshul, and Kafaj Karnshul. Now we will discuss the treatment of deafness or Badhirya. The oil duly cooked with water, milk, and well pasted with cow's urine as sculk should be used as an eardrop in cases of deafness. Oil should be first cooked with goat's milk or the decoction of Vimbi fruit with sugar and Yasti Madhu and Vimbi fruit as sculk. When cooked down, it should be churned with the hand and the snake, the oily portion should be separated. The oily part, after being stirred in a decoction of will, should again be cooked with milk weighing 10 times and with a gulp of sugar, yashti madhu, and sandalwood. It should then be thickened and used as an eardrop in cases of deafness. Measures and remedies which will be mentioned in connection with Pratishai or have been already described in the chapter of Vatvyadhi. Chikitsa may be as well employed with benefit in the present instances. Next is the treatment of Putikarn, Karnsrav and Krimikarn. The general mode of treatment to be employed in cases of Karnsrav, Putikarn and Krimikarn is the same as above. Now, here we describe the general mode of treatment to be employed in them. Rinse, fumigating, filling up the cavity of ear as with an eardrop. Cleansing and washing should be employed according to the exigencies of each case. The affected ear should be washed with the decoction of the drugs of the Rajvrikshadi or the Sursadi group and filled with the powders of those drugs. In case of Karnsrav, the cavity of the affected organ should be filled in with the powders of the Panchkashai drugs mixed with honey and the express juice of kapit. The use of the powders of the surge bark mixed with honey and express juice of the karpasi fruit is recommended in cases of Karnasrav. A compound consisting of pulverized laksha and surge rus should be used in filling up the cavity of the affected organ in the said disease. The oil duly cooked with the tender sprouts of seval, mahavriksha, jambu, and of amr, as well as with the karkatshringi honey, madhuki, is highly efficacious in these cases. Powders of the barks of tinduk, abhya, rodra, samang, and of amlak mixed with honey and the express juice of kapit should be similarly used. The express juice of amr, kapit, madhu flower, dhav, and of sal or an oil duly cooked with these is likewise recommended as eardrops in these cases. The oil cooked with Priyangu, Yashti Madhu, Ambalika, Dhatki, Shritparni, Manjishta, Lodr, and Laksha as kalk, and with the express use of the sprouts of kapit as a liquid, if used as an eardrop, arrests the secretion in case of Karnsrav. Then there is the treatment of Putikan. Rasanjan rubbed and dissolved in the breast milk and mixed with honey proves highly efficacious even in chronic and long-standing cases of Putikan, attended with fetid discharge. The use as eardrops of the compound composed of oil, the express juice of nirgundi and honey mixed arrest together arrest an attack of Putikan. Then there is the treatment of Krimikan. Vermifuges should be employed for the treatment of a case of Krimikan. Fumigation of the affected parts with the fumes of dried vartaku or the pouring of mustard oil into the cavity of the affected organ is also beneficial in such cases. Vidang and hrital, yellow or piment, mixed with cow's urine and used as an ear drop, as well as fumigating the affected organ with the fumes of burnt goglu, tends to destroy the fetor in the ear due to local parasites. Administration of emetics, smoke inhalation, and gurgles are also beneficial in such cases. Then next topic is the treatment of Kanshwet, Vitriti, etc. The use of mustard oil as an ear drop is efficacious in cases of Kanshwet. An abscess with Vitriti in the ear should be treated as an ordinary abscess. The affected ear should be sufficiently fomented after being filled in with oil so as to soften the filthy deposit in the cavity of the ear, after which the filthy matter should be extracted with a probe or a director shalaka. Next, there is the treatment of Karn Kandu and Karn Pratina. Fumigation of the parts with the help of a tube, that is Nadi Swed. Exhibitions of emetics, smoke inhalations, head purging, as well as all kinds of cough subduing measures should be resorted to in cases of Kankandu. Application of Sneh and of Swed and then of head purgatives should be made in cases of Karnpratinha. And the treatment thereafter should conform to the nature of the specific deranged dosha of the body involved in the case. Next is the treatment of Karnapak. Remedies and remedial measures described in connection with Pitta Jusab should be used with equal profit in the case of Karnapak, inflammatory suppression of the ear. Any filth or vermin, etc., lodged in the cavity of the ear should be removed with the help of a probe or by cutting it with a horn. Cures for the remaining cases of affections in the ear have been described before in the Chikitsa Sthan, chapters 18 and 23. This ends the 21st chapter of the Uttar Tantra in the Sushruta Samhita, which deals with the treatment of the diseases peculiar to the ear. So here to complete our session. This session is powered by digital version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you so much.
Namaste, हमेशा खुश रहो बेटिया. I am JVN Dr. Meenakshi, Assistant Professor in Department of Shalakya Tantra, Faculty of Ayurvedic Science, ज्योति विद्यापीठ Women's University. आज का हमारा डिस्कशन का टॉपिक है cleft lip. So first there is a brief introduction. Cleft lip and palate is the second most common congenital anomaly after clubfoot. Among the 14 types of orofacial clefting, cleft lip and palate is the most common one. Related to the embryology, the development of facial structure starts at the end of fourth week, and there is 5 facial prominences around the stomatodeum, and unpaired frontonasal process, paired maxillary prominences, paired mandibular prominences, as you can see in the picture. In the following 2 weeks, the two medial nasal processes fuse in midline to form the upper lip, and the mandibular process fuse in midline to form the lower lip. The maxillary and the lateral nasal process is separated by nasolacrimal groove or duct. The frontonasal process forms the bridge of the nose. The medial nasal process forms the tip of nose and philtrum of upper lip. Lateral nasal process forms the ala of the nose. Development of upper lip. The medial and the lateral nasal processes form at the margins of nasal fluids. The medial nasal processes and pessary sinus fuse at the philtrum to form the upper lip. So there is a growth of this structure from 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 10 weeks. There is a embryology has been shown. The formation of cleft lip is due to the failure of fusion of the maxillary prominence and medial nasal processes. The formation of the primary palate. The unilateral cleft lip results from the failure of fusion of the medial nasal prominence with the maxillary prominence. Etiology: there can be genetic factors, environmental factors, it can be multifactorial. Genetics: the genetic factors are associated with orofacial clefting incidence. Cleft lip palate is more for monozygotic twins than for dizygotic twins. Some genes are associated with the orofacial clefting like TGF alpha, TGF beta, MX1, homeobox gene, retinoic acid receptor alpha. And next are the multifactorial, because the chances increases if more than one family member is affected. More the severity, greater the chances of recurrence in siblings. Higher risk is affected individual is of less affected sex. Risk decreases in remotely affected individuals. Consanguinity increases the rate because of sharing of the genes. Then environmental cause, it can be divided into four categories: warm environment, external environment, nutrition, drugs. Certain drugs act as teratogen that give birth defects like anti-abortifacient drugs, antiemetics, anti-epileptic drugs, thalidomide, dioxin, retinoic acid, maternal alcohol use, and maternal cigarette smoking. There are few predisposing factors like high maternal age, diabetes, toxemia, reduced blood supply, folic acid deficiency, ratio, and radiations. There's a classification of cleft lip. It can be unilateral, incomplete, unilateral, complete, unilateral, bilateral, complete. Victor views classification: cleft lip classification, class 1, class 2, class 3, and class 4. In class 1, there is unilateral notching of vermilion border not extending to the lip. In class 2nd, the cleft extended into the lip but not including the floor of the nose. In class 3rd, extending into the floor of the nose. In class 4th, any bilateral cleft of the lip, whether incomplete or complete. There is an image of the unilateral cleft lip and the bilateral cleft lip. Prenatal diagnosis: cleft lip can be easily diagnosed by performing the ultrasonography in the second trimester. Diagnosing a cleft palate with ultrasonography is very difficult. Three-dimensional imaging has been introduced to prenatal ultrasonography diagnostics of cleft anomalies. Advantages of prenatal cleft diagnosis: psychological preparation for parents to have realistic expectations, parent education for cleft management, preparation of neonatal care and feeding, opportunity to investigate other abnormalities, possibility of fetal surgery. Therefore, disadvantages of prenatal cleft diagnosis: emotional disturbance to the mother, high maternal anxiety and dysfunction, termination of pregnancy. The problems associated with cleft lip are dental, skeletal, nasal, feeding, ear problems, speech, associated anomalies. The management of cleft lip and palate is done by ENT surgeon, social worker, nursing support, speech therapist, psychiatrist, ophthalmologist, pediatric dentist, prosthodontist, orthodontist, plastic and oral surgeon, and genetic scientist. The cleft lip repair is the goal of cleft lip repair is to improve facial aesthetics by restoring the nasal and lip contour. Time: it is done at the age of 3 to 6 months. Millard's rule of 10, term coined by Wilhelmsen and Musgrave in 1969. 10 weeks of age, 10 pounds weight, 10 gram per deciliter hemoglobin. So techniques are Tennyson, Randall Z-plasty, Millard's rotation advancement repair, Rose Thompson straight line repair. Thank you so much. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. Hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in comment box. I will resolve it.